Conan, what's best in life? To cross your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to watch Drew reviews every day. What? Enough talk! What's up, guys? Andrew back with another review, and today I'm going to tell you a tale of high adventure. It's Conan the Barbarian, one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I just did a top 10 on Schwarzenegger, and it came in at number 5 for me. So, yeah, I think a lot of this movie. I'm going to go into the plot real briefly. Everybody knows the story of Conan. This is one of Arnold's breakout roles. The Terminator really did it, but, this really put him in the public eye as well. You got the character of Conan, and we open up and he's with his family there, and the snake cult led by Thulsa Doom comes in, we later find out, and murders everyone, sells him off to be a slave. You've got that great scene in the beginning where he's on the grinding wheel, and that's the scene I remembered as a kid, growing up. And I hadn't seen it for years, and that's the one scene that kind of stuck with me. But, that's kind of where he gains up his strength, and they take him and make him a pit fighter, and so he kind of becomes this gladiator type character. One drunken night, his master frees him. And so from that point on, he's a thief. He falls into this crypt. He gets this sword, from this old king. Meets Subutai, and later on Valeria, which I think is funny. I love that character by Sandal Bergman, but I think her name sounds like some kind of infectious disease. They steal this jewel, the Eye of the Serpent, and they end up catching the eye of King Osric, whose daughter has been stolen by this, snake king, the snake cult. And so he hires them to go and get his daughter back. So they go in and take care of business. And later on, he meets the character of Akiro, played by Mako. And I really like that character. He's the narrator of the story. So Conan decides he's going to take on Thulsa Doom, and he's going to do it by himself. And of course, he can't do it without his compadres. And the snake cult, of course, leaves him for dead. He's crucified up there. They pull him down, and of course, Valeria, she's in love with Conan. They've had this pretty gratuitous love scene before that. She tells Akiro, make it happen, bring him back. He's like, well, I can do it, but it'll come at a very heavy price to you. And she's like, yeah, just do it. And he comes back and he trains, and they have this great fight right there by the beach. And he goes back in at the end, beheads Thulsa Doom. And that's the end of the movie. That's pretty much the plot of Conan the Barbarian. So guys, what I love about Conan the Barbarian is the world they created. The world building is just stupendous. And they filmed this in South Spain. And so, that's kind of alien to a Midwest American boy like me. So, you've got scenes like there where he's, practicing his swordplay on the beach. They're just gorgeous. Some of those scenes, where he's running across the plains are really cool. I really like some of the sets, whether it's that huge set on the side of the mountain, where the snake cult is, or there with Mako, or where they have that final battle amongst the rocks. The one that really gets me is the witch's lair. I remember when I saw this the first time, I was 10 or 11, and so you've got him, and that witch invites him in. Of course, they have the sex scene. She starts howling and screaming, and spirits start. I'm thinking at 10, it's like that. The internet wasn't around. I hadn't seen anything quite like that. And it turns out, I guess there are sub forums for people who like that kind of thing, but that's what parental blocks are for. But yeah, the world building is really good. The effects are pretty good for the most part. You can get on about James Earl Jones's face, as that snake, how it pushes through. I still think it looks good. I like the big, robotic snake that Conan kills. As far as the effects go, a lot of people could get on it for the demons coming to take Conan's spirit away to the other side. But I thought that effect still holds up pretty well for 1982. They're kind of animated, but it gives it this otherworldly feel. Schwarzenegger, acting-wise, isn't too bad in this, considering, he hadn't done anything but, the weightlifting movies and Hercules in New York at this time. He's given quite a bit of dialogue, which usually hurts a film. But other than, like, a few clunky bits like, to hear the lamentation of the women, it's not too bad. Sandal Bergman in this movie is great. She's got some great dialogue in this movie, like, all the gods, they cannot sever us. If I were dead and you were still fighting for life, I'd come back from the darkness, back from the pit of hell to fight at your side. Stuff like that. Let's take what we have and live. That's some of her soliloquies in this are just really impressive. I really like the dialogue she was given, and yeah, as a warrior, she's like almost on an equal tier with Conan. Subatai's pretty good. Love Mako in this movie. James Earl Jones. I love that. The voice of Darth Vader. This is the first movie I ever saw his face in. I think he looks goofy in the hair. The long dark hair. I do love the blue eyes on him. It gives him a lot of character. But yeah, he does a really good job in this, and that whole scene where they've got Conan captured, and he's talking about his power and everything. That was a really good scene. And John Milius, who directed this, is such a man's man. You need to listen to this with the commentary on. It's just great. You feel like you need to take up smoking and grab a stogie and fire up a steak and a brewski, just to be able to listen to this commentary. I really love the swordplay in this movie. The action scenes are amazing. The scenes with the horses there in that big fight that the three of them have with the snake cult are great. You've got horses rolling over spikes, and it's like, wow, to train these horses to do that's just, to me, that's really impressive. I'm not an equestrian at all, but just kudos to those guys. And of course, this scene right here where they put the war paint on and they go up to the snake tower and take care of business. That's just a really cool scene. That's another one as a kid, with the orgy or whatever's going on there in the middle. I probably shouldn't have seen at like 10 years old, but whatever. The other thing about this movie, probably almost as equally impressive as the world building and the characters in Arnold, is the score by Basil Poledouris. Oh my goodness. This score, I do a lot of walking and hiking, and occasionally when I really feel like hurting myself going jogging, I will put this score on. It's, dun 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 da da da. It's just, what a great score. It's really anthemic, and it's pretty good inspirationally to go, work out to. This score just transports you from our world to their world. And, as far as a movie like this, it's one of the most impressive scores I've ever heard. So guys, now that I've told you my likes for Conan the Barbarian, I'm going to tell you my dislikes. So here goes. Did you guys catch all that? So overall, where would I rank Conan the Barbarian? It's just such an influential movie that, started the fantasy craze of the early to mid 80s, whether you got this or Destroyer or Legend or Kroll or what have you. Just an amazing movie. This is the most impressive of all those movies to me. And this is just such a great job by everyone involved in this movie. I'm going to give this an 8.5. I think it's worth every bit of it. If you want to have a good movie night, watch this on like a Friday night with a pizza and a brewski. You cannot go wrong with Conan the Barbarian. It takes you from our world to theirs, and you just get total escapism for nearly 2 hours. It's probably just outside my top 15. It may even be in that 15 to 10 range. This movie, I just adore it. So guys, thank you for watching this video, especially all of you who stuck it out all the way to the end. Coming up next, I know I'm going to do Fridays. I'm going to start reviewing the Friday the 13th movies and releasing them on Friday. I know I'm going to do the first 4. I don't know if I'm going to go beyond that because I like only 1 or 2 of them after those first 4. So stay tuned for that. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I'm Andrew, and me and Arnold will see you down the line.